This show is sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. Burnout is real. Whether it's work, family, kids, or life in general, here's your reminder to slow down and take care of yourself. Visit betterhelp.com/allies and learn to manage the burnout.
Hello. Welcome to the Easy Allies podcast. I'm Daniel Bloodworth, coming to you from Los Angeles, California. This week, I'm joined by Bradley Ellis.
Yo.
Michael Damiani.
What's up?
In the control room, we have Isla Hink.
This chaotic NPR energy is back again, Bloodworth.
I like it.
And Don Casanova.
He's in here.
He's in here.
He's just staring at me like a gremlin. I can't show you. He's off the camera, but he's looking weird.
Friends, we're here to talk about some video games or something.
Yeah.
We got Silent Hill leaks. We got PlayStation Plus info. We got some weird digital whatever thing Microsoft's doing.
Right.
NPDs. I got a game specifically for these two guys. But before we do that, we have to answer for all the mistakes we made in last week's episode. Isla, begin corrections music, please.
Boop.
So apparently, there are no character-specific missions or storylines in Gotham Knights. Every mission is playable by any hero, which raises the question of how they're going to do the dialogue. I'm a little skeptical on nothing. So this is the only thing I could come across to confirm this correction. Is in a PlayStation blog post they said, you're never forced to play a specific character. You can play through the entire game with one hero if you so wish. So I don't know that it necessarily means there's not character-specific missions, but you aren't forced to oh, now it's you have to play as a character you don't like. But interesting that you can go about it that way.
Yeah, because they could still just have cutscenes with characters even if you don't play as them, I guess.
And they talk because of the way that you could build and the branching skill trees that you can have one Batgirl and somebody can have another Batgirl and they have different play styles.
Yeah, okay.
So it's interesting. I said Curse of the Necrodancer. The name of the game is Crypt of the Necrodancer. And Isla, a diuretic is something that causes an increased amount of urination. A laxative is what might cause diarrhea.
Yeah. What?
We were talking about cherries and ice water, and you were talking about fruit being a diuretic because somebody died of diarrhea.
Oh, yeah. I just said the wrong thing. They sound like diarrhea.
They do.
Diuretic,
it does sound
diarrhea.
similar. Yeah.
All right.
Laxative. Laxaria.
And if you have...
On home practice, laxaria. Sorry.
If you have a correction, leave it in the YouTube comments. You can do that on either the patron version or on the public version of this podcast on YouTube. Start with the word correction and put a timestamp in there so we know exactly what you are correcting. And corrections music.
Boop.
So, I guess as we were filming, or I just barely missed it as I was driving in or something, last week, crazy Silent Hill leaks popped up.
Woo!
Yeah, Twitter user Dustgolem posted images from a supposed new Silent Hill game, which were quickly taken down by Konami. There is a couple of shots with an apartment that was just filled with garbage bags and all kinds of other trash. There is an image of a woman's face with holes in it, and inside of the hole were paper messages. One specifically that said, I hate myself. And then there was a red hallway that was just covered in sticky notes, all the way down the hall. And you could see other kind of visible insults that she's probably taken internally or whatever.
Yeah, maybe social media, bullying, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Dust Golem said that the images were from a 2020 build, and also brought up the names Anita and Maya, as well as SMS messages. And someone pointed out that one of the images features a signature from Masahiro Ito, the veteran creature designer for the Silent Hill franchise. And back in 2020, around the time these images came out, he tweeted simply, "I'm working on a title as a core member. I hope the title won't be canceled."
That's fair.
Yep, that's about right with Konami.
Yeah, so I've got more stuff since that. But first, just want to talk about what your guys' thoughts are to the initial leakage that happened last week.
Do we know that Konami took them down, or was that just speculation? 'Cause that's a big difference.
I think that we know that was Konami that made the copyright claim, but I'm not 100%
I think Dusk
sure.
Golem like kind of implied that it was.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, it's cool to see Silent Hill coming back, even if it's not technically official, but it probably is official.
Right.
So it's been a long time. It's been a long and bumpy road for Silent Hill. It's gone down in quality, unfortunately, near the end of its life. So hoping it'll come back. Hopefully, with like Resident Evil coming back strong. I hope Silent Hill can also capture that magic.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Hopefully they've seen how well Resident Evil's revival has been, and they're like, oh, we can get on this. There seems to be a lot of fan demand for the continuation of Silent Hill or revisiting it. I guess the good optimistic view is that Konami's allowing people internally to work on projects related to Silent Hill. The pessimistic thing is, will any of these actually see the light of day? And as that tweet illustrates, it's like, great that we have a leak, but the fact that it's a 2-year-old build and who knows if it will ever see the light of day for like as a release, that's a little bit more concerning because it feels like Konami might not pull the trigger on it. We've been teased so much about Silent Hill.
Yeah. Yeah, Isla, you were talking about the SMS angle and where this might be going from a psychological perspective.
Yeah, I mean, that seems like logical, whether or not it's a period piece or what, because, I mean, SMS isn't really the way we think about messaging as much anymore, but, like, if it's about bullying and that kind of psychological trauma, I could definitely see that fitting into Silent Hill.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Whether or not you're the bully or the bullied, Silent Hill tends to deal with
or both
dubious protagonists. Also, just a quick aside, I read a thing recently that said this was Konami's most profitable year ever.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mentioned that briefly,
fine.
something related to that when we were talking about all the financials. I just didn't get into the Konami stuff.
Yeah.
But
so it's just like, it's kind of a bummer because like I have a lot of thoughts. I assume we're gonna get into the Bloober stuff in a minute, but like this was exciting to me to see a new ideas for a new Silent Hill, and Konami getting back on it. I also saw recent stuff that like Resident Evil 7 outsold the entire Silent Hill series.
Sure. Yeah.
Which I never knew. I knew Silent Hill was second fiddle, but I didn't know it was like way back of the orchestra, like, wow. So I could see why maybe it's not a priority for Konami. But
I think that's one of the difficulties is when you look at the period that Konami had before they kind of like turned off the faucet. You look at Silent Hill, you look at Metal Gear, you look at Lords of Shadow, and those were all very big budget games that didn't sell particularly well. And now they're making a bunch of small budget games that are selling off the charts, like Yu-Gi-Oh! And whatever else.
Didn't MGS 5 sell pretty well? I know that was like on a ton of platforms.
I don't know if it sold well for MGS budgets.
The defense of why a lot of these games didn't sell as well because they weren't super good, honestly.
Yeah.
They were kind of like, they were lacking and they should have been better, so that's probably why they didn't sell a lot. Like, I mean, like, whatever the Metal Gear Survive game they're making, like, who the hell thought that would sell good? No one thought that would sell except Konami. I can't believe they even believed that. And like we said, like, Silent Hill over the years just kind of got less impressive to me and less impactful. So it doesn't surprise me that Resident Evil 7 outsold the entire franchise, honestly.
Very quick cursory Googling here. It does appear that Metal Gear Solid 5 outsold the rest of the series.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, MGS 5 was like huge.
But it also had Kiefer Sutherland.
It did, but I don't think that's the reason it sold.
No, I'm not saying that's why it sold. I'm saying that's why, like, from Konami's like production budget perspective.
Yeah.
Why, when you can get that same amount of sales off of a Yu-Gi-Oh, yearly game,
The Metal Gear entire franchise has topped 58 million as of February this year.
Nice. Yeah, that's huge.
And they still won't really re-release the games on current gen.
Exactly.
I mean, that's a whole different can of worms. But I mean, I still think Silent Hill could do. I mean,
Huge.
I haven't been following the leaks as much, but it always seemed like it was maybe a smaller scale ideas could work for it, so that a smaller budget game could, achieve the vision that they're trying to do and still fit within Konami's current MO of we're going to make lower budget games that do sell very well proportionately. So I think they can have their cake and eat it too with this.
Yeah.
And I do think there's a chance if the right people are behind it. I guess we'll hear in the leaks who might be working on it. But as long as the right people are working on the game, it has the potential to be good. And it doesn't need to be a giant blockbuster like Resident Evil or think that big. Just something like Isla's ideas about what the leaks could mean for it being a bit more personal stories like that easily could work out as well.
Yeah, and there have been so many imitators over the year. We're talking about Bloober. The Medium was very much in that vein. I played In Sound Mind last year, which I feel like I'm the only person that ever talks about, but I really dug that game, and it's very much in those same kind of veins. But yeah, the question really isn't is Silent Hill in production? It's how many Silent Hills are in production.
Yeah.
So since the image is leaked, more folks have been speaking up to talk about multiple Silent Hill games in development, including a possible remake of Silent Hill 2 that would be a timed PlayStation exclusive with reworked puzzles and several new endings.
Ooh.
New endings.
So yeah.
Up from 6.
Yeah.
Does anything pop into mind of where things could branch off, Eiler? I don't know if we even. That might be a spoiler, but or
heavens.
anything.
I mean, they could go anywhere. There's the dog ending. There are UFO endings. Any number of joke endings. They could just add more of those because they don't really make any sense.
Yeah, they don't matter. Yeah.
Something I would like to see is some of the endings just fleshed out more. Because some of them are just talking while he's on a boat going out to an island, or text over, someone reading a letter while they walk away, and it's maybe some cutscenes are showing the thing he does after being on the boat, because that seems pretty nuts. I don't know. Anything would be great.
Yeah, you're begging for scraps at this point.
I'm begging for scraps.
Yeah.
Dude. I'm begging for scraps.
And then also, last year, Bloober announced they were working with Konami on an existing horror IP, never specifically named Silent Hill, but obviously...
What else would it be?
Yeah, as we mentioned, the medium had clear influences, and the team worked with the composer, Akira Yamaoka, on that. Another rumor suggests there is a series of short episodic games, and that at one point Supermassive was involved, but eventually that worked into the concept for the Dark Pictures anthology.
Say they're busy enough.
Which is
Now-
also crazy because those don't... Silent Hill
They
isn't
don't feel
the
like Silent Hill,
closest
yeah.
analog? No, not at all.
But now some sources are connecting Annapurna to possibly be picking up that torch. So
Okay.
I don't know.
Anything's possible.
And then separately, a new mainline entry is in development at an unnamed Japanese studio. This would have a PT-style teaser called Sakura, which is apparently, supposedly, where the images from last week's leak came from.
So that's 3 projects then.
Yeah, 3.
Okay,
That would
'cause
be 4. If you count
one.
Bloober, Silent Hill 2 remake, episodic.
I
and-
think
Oh, sorry,
I
and
think the
then
remake is
this other
Bloober.
game plus the. Yeah.
Okay.
I
so
heard
potentially
the
4.
Japanese
so
studio.
potentially 4.
Yeah.
I heard the remake was Bloober doing that.
Okay, well
That's what
that's
I heard.
interesting because I don't think from what they've said that would not likely be it, but maybe. So
Oh, who knows?
Bloober
but yeah.
said, I would say that it's hard to work with someone who owns an IP you're working on, but we are always talking with those licensors. Guys, we would like to use your license, but we would like to tell our own story. If we are not able to tell our own story, if we will not have creative freedom, it doesn't make sense because Bloober Team will not make a great game. If you are in a prison, you will not be able to fly.
Whoa.
Wow.
So that's why we are
Okay.
trying to only make
So they're
those
remaking
titles
4 then.
in which we are feeling, okay, it will be a Bloober Team game, not someone else's game. So even on the project we can't talk about, it will still be a Bloober Team title.
I mean, you could still make 2 and just
Maybe
do
there's
new
5, 6
things.
games. I
Yeah,
don't
who knows? I guess. That's
I
just
mean,
what I read.
yeah, I guess just one of these coming to pass would be like nice, because I hate it when there's certain times I can't remember in my life where like it feels like you have so many good options in front of you, and this like you think multiple of them and you get greedy and then you end up losing it all, and it's like, man, I didn't even get one of these. So it's like just one of these coming out. My question is, because I feel like there are the bigger Silent Hill fans in the room right now than me. Of these potential ideas, which one sounds like the most interesting if you had to like pick one of them that come to fruition? The remake, a brand new one, or this episodic thing? The three, I guess.
A brand new one sounds the most interesting to me.
Same, yeah.
Just seeing what they do.
Yeah.
Like,
the stuff from the leak does look interesting for sure.
Like 2, obviously, is like a super great game and really important to a lot of people. But the idea of something brand new and like a new studio doing it sounds really awesome.
Well, and also like, I agree completely. The Sakura stuff, the Cherry Blossom, like the hallway, the images looked really cool, and I'd love to see a new thing. But like, also shout out to the Silent Hill 2 Enhanced, which is like a fan-made, basically remaster for Silent Hill 2 for PC, and it's so good.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like, we already have it. It's a little hard to get your hands on it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, isn't it like insanely a pain in the ass to even get that to work and play it?
It was more of a pain in the ass for us because we tend to try to do things legally, which means getting our hands on a copy of Silent Hill 2, which is like $300. But thankfully, someone sent it to us. Thank you so much for that. I love you. But I mean, if you're not bound by the constraints of law, then it just takes a couple of minutes.
Like, it'd be cool if you could just buy it and it was actually a good version of the game.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty rad.
Yeah.
For like game preservation purposes, because we know the HD collection did not live up to expectations.
No.
So to get and easily get a copy that is, adheres to like the standards people expect when they play one of these games, especially Silent Hill 2, it could go a long way, maybe, for Konami to put out a very competent like remaster of that game. Yeah, even if it's not a full blown remake.
They've done good collections recently over the years with Contra and Castlevania, so it's like, do this for Silent Hill. Like, give it another shot. Do it well.
Yeah. Well, I think too, when of course, talking about Resident Evil and stuff, I always think about Resident Evil and Resident Evil 2 remakes. Mm-hmm. And, as good as the Enhanced Edition is, I think there's still like a lot of room that could probably be made in terms of just like character modeling, facial animation, that kind of thing.
I mean, if they remake the game, it'll bring a whole new audience into that. Because like a lot of people, unfortunately, or it doesn't matter, a lot of people don't want to play a game like that anymore. Like fixed camera and the controls on it. Like, people don't like that, a lot of people.
Yeah, that's the other thing too, is if you're going to change the camera, then you've got to like also work on the atmosphere to make sure that it still has the same vibes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Silent Hill 2 without fixed cameras would be pretty weird.
Well, that's what I thought about Resident Evil 2
True,
also.
yeah. Mm. They've like, Konami has made the rubric for doing these, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's interesting to see where things will go.
Yeah, we'll see.
But
hoping for the best.
Yeah.
It'd be great if that franchise came back.
A few weeks back, we finally got the details on the expanded PlayStation Plus offering to sort of compete with Game Pass. Not exactly. And if you missed that, basically, PlayStation Plus will now be in 3 different tiers. There's going to be Essential, which is what you're getting right now. There is going to be Extra, which is going to have a bunch of PS4 and PS5 games included. And then there's going to be Premium, which will give you access to basically PS Now style features for streaming games.
For PS3.
As well as PS3, which PS3 will only be streaming, but you'll be able to stream other things.
Oh, right.
And then also PlayStation 1, 2, and PlayStation Portable Classics, which still nowhere in this is Vita. Like, Vita's not really been
I know.
mentioned. But it makes sense because the control scheme has got to be adapted or whatever. So this week we got, as we're getting a little closer to launch, we got some details on the some of the game lineup. Very small bit of the game lineup, it seems, but just some listings here. So I don't know if you guys got a chance to,
I did look at
over
some
these.
of it, yeah.
Yeah, anything stand out at you before we get into the dirty details?
Honestly, I think from what I've seen, the PS4 and PS5 games are pretty damn good on that list.
Yeah.
Like, immediately that pops in my head is Returnal as one of those games.
One of the newest ones, yeah.
And Demon Souls Remake on there. Mm-hmm. Like, Miles Morales is also on there.
Yeah.
Like, super good.
Both Spider-Man games are on there.
Yeah, there's a lot of, like, good PS4, PS5 games.
Yeah, I was happy to see both Gravity Rush and Gravity
both of them,
Remastered and 2 on there.
I think Uncharted... I think what are the remasters called?
The Nathan Drake collection is on there, and then Uncharted 4 is on there. So yeah, so basically,
it's
and the Lost Legacy is too.
Because it's the collection. I think the PS5 version or whatever. But yeah, those are really great games. And if you just picked up a PlayStation, like you're new to PlayStation, there's a lot of sweet games to play on there.
It was more interesting to me to see the older catalog for the older systems because they said it's not the full lineup. It was just like a sample of like some of the stuff coming. So obviously we got to wait. But it's interesting to see which games they all opted to go with like a remastered version of it. For like Ratchet and Clank, it's like we're not gonna put the originals. You're gonna get like the remasters on here. And
but
like,
those already existed on PS4s, from my understanding.
Yeah, so like they're not gonna give you like older versions of some of these games. Potentially, we don't know. They might. It still could be in there. But then looking at the lineup that they gave, I think the one that people seem to be most excited was like Ape Escape was gonna be on there for the retro one. So people are like, yay! Like there's hope. Like there's one other one I think people are really excited about.
Filters on there.
Yeah.
Which is getting trophy support also, which is really cool.
Yeah, that's a confirmation that those games can have trophies. I don't know if they'll be required to.
Yeah, maybe just the first party ones.
I expect the first party probably will. Or they're still under first party control. We'll definitely have that, but we'll have to see.
Just wild to think about them putting the hooks in for that.
Like it seems like a good lineup. This may be a point we're about to get to, but like I feel like I want to bring it up now. The best bit of news that came out was that the carryover of purchases from the legacy. So from PS3 onward, or PSP, PS3 onward, it's like if you had a digital purchase of a PS1.
No, it's just PS3? Original PlayStation and PSP. I have the quote here.
But it's the classics versions of those, right? Like if you bought them on like PS3, because you could buy PS1 games on there.
Yeah, if you previously bought them.
So what?
So if you have the digital, if you bought them digitally on
really?
PS3 or PSP, because you could buy them either way, it would be tied to your account.
That's cool.
When they become available, you will have access to them even if you're not a premium member, and some of those older games will be available piecemeal to you, so you could buy them individually potentially and not have to subscribe.
Right.
Oh, that's good.
So you could buy like a PS1 game maybe?
Potentially.
Like,
here's
I would love
the full quote is also players who have previously purchased the digital version of select games from the original PlayStation and PSP generations will not have to make a separate purchase or sign up to PlayStation Plus to play these titles on PS4 or PS5. When these titles are released for PS4 and PS5, players can head to the PlayStation Store and download a version for the consoles at no extra cost if they already own the digital version of the title. Some of the titles will also be available for individual purchase.
Okay. So hoping for both the Suikoden to come.
Oh, yeah.
If they can come.
I want all the Resident Evil games.
Yeah, got those Resident Evil games, got the Castlevania.
Yeah, there's a lot of great.
Yeah, I mean, I know some of those are in their collections, but for people who already purchased them and have not jumped into anything new, this is a nice this is a nice thing for them. Yeah. I know it's not going to be comprehensive, but I think it's going a long way to assuage some of the fears people had about the legacy catalog for sure.
Right.
What were some of the PS3 streaming games? That was I didn't really look too closely at that. I'm very curious what they're offering.
Probably
any big names.
There's quite a few things, but it's very scattershot. And actually, let me before we get down to the specific PS3 list, some of the ones that stood out to me. So with the PS4 and PS5 games, they listed 38 first-party titles, 24 third-party. Some of the ones that stuck out to me that they don't have is they have Knack, but they don't have Knack 2.
Interesting.
They know how valuable it is.
There's no MLB The Show, even though I'm pretty sure that's on Game Pass.
Yeah. That's interesting.
The last year's Ratchet and Clank isn't on there.
No.
And Sackboy isn't on there either. Yeah. And then one of the things that's really weird to me is with this, so they list a lot of Ubisoft games, like Assassin's Creed Valhalla is in there. Mm-hmm. There's some Far Cry games in there, et cetera, et cetera. For Honor is in there. and then South Park: The Fractured But Whole. But here's the thing: when PlayStation made this announcement, Ubisoft made their own separate announcement
Right.
about introducing Ubisoft Ubisoft Plus Classics will be available initially bundled with the PlayStation Plus Extra and PlayStation Plus Premium subscription tiers. So it's just like, so we're getting these now, but maybe not forever.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll go away. I mean, Game Pass games go away, you know? Come
Right.
and go.
It's just weird because it's like they're creating their whole like separate system.
It is weird blood.
That it almost feels like they just eventually it's like, well, if you like these, then maybe subscribe to Ubisoft Plus in
An
8 months.
additional Here we go.
Nah, that's all right. I'm good.
I also thought it was funny the way that Ubisoft is defining classic games because
Using that very loosely.
they listed Child of Light, Far Cry 3, Blood Dragon, Far Cry 4, Steep, South Park: The Fractured But Whole, The Crew 2, like
Yeah.
Child of Light, and then maybe Far Cry 3, Blood Dragon. Like those are like the closest thing to like classic.
But
the rest
I
is,
wouldn't
like,
even
these are
consider
very
those.
recent games.
Those I would not consider those classics.
So.
They're just selling
I
it.
get it.
though.
Like the PS4 launched 10 years
It
ago.
also makes it
It's fine.
confusing because they're using the word classic for something that's in the extra tier, and then PlayStation is using the word classic for things that are in the premium tier.
Yeah, it's also
So it just makes the whole thing more bamboozled.
Yes. It's messy, for sure. It's very messy.
And then, so when you get into the PlayStation PSP stuff was really weird because they only listed like 6 first-party games.
Yeah.
And 4 third-party games.
Yeah, very slim.
And the third party is like Mr. Driller, Tekken 2, Worms, 2 Worms games, World Party and Armageddon.
Yeah, it was not. I did not feel good when I didn't see like any Square on there.
Yeah.
I didn't see any
Yeah.
Capcom on there. There's Bandai and there's Konami on there, but like no Metal Gear.
Right.
Or just things on my. I think about PlayStation, like iconic PlayStation games. It's like it's not there. Like Tekken 2 instead of Tekken 3 is kind of weird to me, also.
Yeah, also like the older Persona games, like 3 or 4, because like I have I actually don't know if the PS2 era.
They didn't go
So-
too much into PS2 stuff.
So I have on my PS3, I have the PS2 digital version of Persona 3 FES.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
I got that
FE,
correct.
yeah.
So I don't know if they'll ever add that, and if it is, would that count as well under their thing? But like those games, I'd like to
Wow.
just like Sega and Atlus's collection. Obviously, like Square Enix, they have newer versions, but I mean, even like Final Fantasy, like Origins, having 1 and 2 on there.
Yeah, I mean, like
Final Fantasy,
Vagrant Story would be awesome because that's not on anything else.
Anthology was like the first time like 5 came
Yeah.
out in the West, so
Yeah.
like like nice to get that version potentially just to see it. I forget what it was called, the one that had both Chrono Trigger and
yeah.
4 or whatever.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
they had all of those versions that were like really cool, but will they really give you multiple games for that? Probably not. And then even just like the standalone versions, will you even be able to get those?
Yeah,
with,
probably not.
The question of Pixel Remaster. But I'm taking them at face value when they say that's just a sampling of the lineup. But part of me
right.
also, the pessimistic side is like, man, you'd probably lead with the strongest
Stronger,
games.
yeah.
So it's like, what do you really have waiting for us? And this is I know a few episodes ago, this is my fear about the retro catalog, was that there's just not going to be a lot of the games you're expecting to be on there because of the evolving current philosophies of most of these publishers. They want you to come and buy a newer version of their game, not go back and buy the older versions.
And then for the remastered ones, the ones that are basically on PS4 already, they showed 13 first party and 5 third party, but these are like just worlds apart from each other. Because on the first party, you've got like Ape Escape 2, Dark Cloud 1 and 2, which you've been playing Dark Cloud 2.
Great games.
That one's good.
Jack
Rogue.
2, Jack 3.
Yep.
Or the original
Jack
Jack
one's
and
there,
Daxter.
yeah.
Like pretty much all the Jack games.
Sorry, Jack and Daxter is what I meant.
And then
earlier.
Wild Arms 3. But then the third party ones are like BioShock, Borderlands, A Handsome Collection, Bulletstorm, Kingdoms of Amalur, and Lego Harry Potter.
Those are PS4 games, right?
Yeah, those are the PS4 quote unquote remasters.
Yeah. I said Ratchet Clank, I meant Jack and Daxter, yeah.
Yeah, so it feels like there's a lot of like PS1, PS2 stuff on the first party side, and then like more PS3 era stuff on the third party.
Yeah.
And then the PS3 games, it gets all over the place.
Yeah.
So there's 21 first-party games and then only 8 third-party. They have Resistance 3, but they don't have Resistance
1 or 2.
That's
So weird.
They have Lords of Shadow 2, but not Lords of Shadow 1. There's no Little Big Planet.
There's like 3 games. They couldn't get one of them on there?
Right. Motorstorm,
that's
Apocalypse,
cool.
and Motorstorm RC are in there.
But not the
the other
original.
ones that like people are more attached to aren't there at all. Yeah, it's really strange. And then in the earlier update, before they gave the specifics, they had said 400 games up to 400 games and extra, and then an additional up to 340 more for premium. So there's a long way to go.
There's a long way to go.
Yeah, a lot.
My question is just like how long. Obviously, they're going to roll out games over time, but I'm
Yeah.
just wondering what the gap will be between games and how many they'll add at a time. What games they'll add. You think about Switch Online, you get some NES game you've never heard of or something like that, like which can be cool because you can experience something new. But at the same time, it's like you get like 1 or 2. Like, are we going to be feeling a huge drought with these releases or what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping, the optimistic side of me hopes that like every month you get like one new addition to like a minimum of one addition
Oh,
to
and
each
Nintendo,
of
you get the N64 game a month. Yeah.
yeah, for each of these, because they have that huge number to hit. It's like, well, if they want to spread it out, like it'd be nice they added like 2 or more, but I mean, I expect monthly updates for this.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that's way too slow.
I think they did say something in the blog about that. Like there'll be like a mid-month refresh.
Okay.
But I imagine that with things getting added, there will also be things going away and sunsetted. So it'll be interesting to see how much is
Third-party
there at any
stuff,
given
probably.
time.
I guess the first party stuff, whenever they bring it out, it'll probably be there forever.
Right.
But third party stuff, yeah, who knows what's going to happen with that?
Hey, if they don't have their own little tab for it coming and leaving thing, it's a new video series we could do that's really easy. Just saying what's coming and going to PlayStation
That's
Plus.
like a game
True.
trailers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
People search for that.
Yeah,
and
that's
like,
true.
if it's not on the service, there you go. Well, yeah, late to the party on that. But yeah, like what's going to be leaving and stuff. I imagine that's going to be done through the PlayStation blog pretty much. But that, yeah, I think I'm with you. Like if that's what they said, the mid-month like refresh thing, like just keep that going. Like keep us updated.
I'm really curious, Blood, how the layout of the service will actually look on your system.
Right.
If it's good, actually. Maybe like
because
search
Game Pass is really
system.
nice.
Yeah.
Like, you just put everything on the screen and
Yeah,
just go
everything
down
at
the list
once, or
alphabetical.
you should be able to do it
Yeah.
by maybe a specific platform or something, or alphabetical. Yeah,
Did I dream this, or did they actually say the retro games are getting like rewind and save states?
They did
and
say
stuff?
that, yeah.
They did
Okay,
talk
so
about
that,
that,
yeah.
like
You could save
I hope
anytime.
like filter like I hope they're for the older like PS1, PS2, PSP stuff they have.
Yeah, they said
a lot of that
higher
stuff.
frame
'cause
rate, some
hopefully-
things. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean that'd be sweet.
Actually, yeah, rewind on PS1 games is gonna be pretty like nice. Actually,
Yeah, it could be nice because
Yeah.
know, sometimes those gaps between save spots were pretty long.
Yeah. The thing that I do worry about though is this third party.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
First
yeah.
party seems
Yeah.
to just be outweighing very heavily, and it reminds me of. Remember when Sony tried to copy Nintendo and did the PlayStation 1 Classic?
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
exactly. That's yeah.
It's like, here's your PlayStation 1 Classic with none of the iconic hits that you want.
Yeah, so it's either Sony doesn't want to pay up for the licenses, or the people who they're trying to get licenses don't want to do it because they see more value in like. I mean, like with Crash and stuff, everything that's now over at
Yeah.
Activision Blizzard, Microsoft will be Microsoft. It's like they saw more value in re-releasing those games as remasters and putting out a new Crash than giving those games
Crash
to.
Bandicoot probably won't be on this.
Yeah,
or
so like
anything.
I don't
It's
see
crazy.
the classic Crashes coming on there. Now the remasters might be a part of it on the PS4
Oh,
and
yeah.
for sure at some point.
Yeah.
But they probably won't give you those like original games.
Yeah, that's a really
like,
good
same thing
point.
like Crash Team Racing will get the original, get like the remastered as well.
Yeah,
So
I was thinking like Twisted Metal, like no Twisted Metal game. I think
Right.
Twisted Metal like 1 and 2, especially huge PS1 games. I'm like, a lot of the big PS1 games I think about are just third-party games because there's
so many Square Enix games, dude.
There's
It's
so
like Vagrant
many.
Story.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
okay. Don't even want to get into it. My heart's gonna break. But there's so many like really good and obscure or relatively obscure PS1 era Square
Yeah,
games,
there's a
SquareSoft
lot.
games that would be excellent to throw on there just for people to try out and make them like easily like available, and because they're so expensive now, and they're probably not going to do any of that.
No.
Well, it's crazy to me because, again, going back to that PS3 era, when they put all that stuff on there, like that was just, to me, that was just like quietly happening, and I didn't know. But without that, like I don't think I would have been ever to like easily play Fatal Frame or Mega Man Legends or all of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so I do wonder, since they made it happen then, if they can do it now. If it will happen again now. And even that Dark Cloud 2 that you were playing, like, what? This is on PS4? Like, I didn't know this happened.
I think they own the IP though. That's why. Yeah. But like, I guess the idea of it coming out,
right.
But like, where did this come?
Yeah. When did this happen? Right. Yeah. I feel like a lot of like the Wii U Virtual Console was like that too. Like when they were putting out like Game Boy and DS games, and it's like, wait, when did this release?
Yeah. Which goes back to, again, when you're asking about like the presentation, how you see it all. Like it's gonna be so I think it's gonna be so important to like definitely visually present this stuff. And like thing for me, like you're talking about how confusing it might get with all the different tiers and the wording, like Ubisoft using classic while Sony's using a different tier. It's just like, if I just come across something while exploring and like I can't access it, it just needs to clearly tell me what I need to do to get it. Like, don't make me jump through a lot of hoops once I find something. Like I hope they have that sorted out, because you don't want to like lose that sale there. Like you finally find that game you really want.
And will the pricing on those individual games be the same as it is when you buy something on PS3, or are they going to update those prices somehow?
That's a good question.
Are they going to go up or down?
That's a good question. They could charge more because, they add trophies or maybe some better performance, something like that. Hopefully, like with third-party games coming on this, like the Resident Evil trilogy maybe in the future, I hope, even if it goes away, off the free subscription thing, you could still buy them there or something like that. I hope they don't like go away from PlayStation completely.
Right.
I hope there's still some way to still buy them.
The older games, PS3 and older, potentially some PS4 games, I guess, too, qualify for this. They're not going to do anything about like multiplayer, like when Nintendo does, right, where they offer like online.
That's a good question.
Play, like multiplayer online. That's one thing. And what about games with servers are now closed that are on this service? Like you can't like.
Well, there was no announcement for MAG, so
yeah. Well, this isn't the best example, but Gravity Rush 2, you can't do one of the things anymore because they shut down the servers for one of the photograph challenge things or whatever. So. Any other games that like they've long since shut down the service for a part of the game, is that going to be an issue? Will they reopen them potentially for the temporary, or they just get like, nope, that feature's locked out, and just
I'm
let you deal with that?
Won't.
I could see maybe for some of like the really big games, like maybe some of the first party things, maybe like Killzone 2 or something, they would do the multiplayer for.
That's not on anymore.
Nope, not here yet.
Well, here's my thing. I'm thinking like the reason I'm thinking about this, because like I feel like Sony would rather just put that effort and money into remastering one of those games. Like, okay, here's the original version, but you can't play online with friends because it didn't have that then, or the server shut down. But hey, we're remastering it, and here's like a $40 version or $70, whatever you charge for it. But now online's back. It's,
I think they have all the Infamous games, but they don't have any Killzone,
which is weird.
It's weird. It is weird. And the same thing with the Resistance games. It's like,
why just
not
3? Why just 3?
Yeah.
There's like 5 Resistance games when I think about it. Man.
Oh yeah, because you got
there's PSP one
too,
and the Vita
one. Oh man,
one.
they're and the PSP stuff, man. I really hope
they got to dig deep because there's a lot of sick games on PSP. I didn't have a PSP, so I didn't play a lot of these games. So I would love they'd add a lot more.
Yeah, like I mean, yeah. Like I hope that collection is good, because Final Fantasy for the
After Years,
the complete collection, which is to me is like the best version of it. It's only on PSP.
Oh yeah,
you can't buy that version anywhere else. So it's like, please put that on the service. But that's again Square Enix.
I mean, like Crisis Core, man.
Right, yeah, Crisis Core is like
that game anywhere.
Like, it's like, please, Crisis Core. Can you make it happen? But I mean. All these are third-party stuff.
There's like Final Fantasy Tactics on there, the PSP version.
Oh gosh,
yeah.
Wars like all those tactical games. Yeah,
I mean they could do both, but
they could do both.
Xenogears.
Xenogears, yeah. Where they add in the ending.
Yeah.
You know what needs to go on there? All the Xenosaga games. There you go. Make people suffer. They won't give it. Was it Harada said it wasn't worth it to make HD versions of those? So let's just re-release them on this service.
It's a different era now, though.
No, that was the blunt thing he said. They did like the whole behind the scenes price analysis of like if it would be profitable for them, and no model he said they could come up with justified the existence of the project.
Damn.
Wow.
Damn.
Wow.
But hey, maybe Sega will come through with us.
Maybe
with those
Sega.
rumored HD remasters. Skies of Arcadia, right?
Oh my god. I would love that.
I don't think it was ever on PlayStation though, right?
Nope.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm talking in general. Sorry,
yeah.
I switched topics.
Yeah, that's
slightly
fine.
There. Yeah.
Another thing that related to this, but from a different angle, PlayStation talking about becoming more multi-platform.
Yes.
So during a corporate strategy meeting on Wednesday, Sony CEO Kenichiro Yoshida said the company has high expectations for Bungie, saying, "We believe it will be a catalyst to enhance our live game service capabilities. Our acquisition of Bungie also represents a major step forward in becoming more multi-platform."
Yep.
So yeah, we've seen that that play towards live service. We've seen that play towards PC games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that all that means, or do you think there's more to it?
I mean, there's more to it, but I don't think it doesn't mean anything about coming to other like to Switch or Microsoft,
Right.
To Xbox specifically.
It sounds more like to PC to me.
It's about like where game services will be available. This is like eventually getting into like they're streaming cloud stuff and like
Right.
Like they're talking about like mobile, talking about smart TVs, like anywhere that this is going to eventually be played. And yeah, platform is just like a broad umbrella term in this context. For me, this is how I interpret it. It's like it's just a broad umbrella context thing here where they are realizing that like we want people to be able to play PlayStation games and have PlayStation branded experiences wherever they are. Let's go to them, and that's what this is so far. Like going to PC, going where they're going to go, and anyone who's getting excited about, they might come to like Switch or like, one, how is it even going to work except for cloud? And do you really want to play it that way? And two, they're not putting their stuff on like a Microsoft system, like an Xbox. So this is smart. I think this is all but good news for people, because it just means for most people, it's going to be like, I can eventually play the first party games on PC, and something like acquisition of Bungie would be weird to like hold them to a specific platform like that. Like,
right.
It's they want to make money.
Yeah. I don't know about day and date either for a little bit.
Oh no, yeah.
Might be like maybe they'll do like a year gap or 2 years.
Oh,
with their
for the
games.
PC stuff?
Yeah, it seems to work so far for them still, but who knows? Like they're on PC now, which was we wouldn't think about 5 years ago at all.
They will probably be day and date for all those games, the live service stuff.
Yeah,
they're
live
working
service
on, right?
stuff, but like the big first party,
absolutely.
your God of War or something like that.
You're
Maybe
right.
not.
No, you're
like the
right.
Last of Us multiplayer, I could see being on PC also whenever
Right.
that comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah, one thing I wonder about is whether they want, to deal with that workflow, right? Because I feel like even with those PC ports, they have Nixus, to handle some of that. But I do think there's so much ownership over those games and those studios that I feel like they want to get the PS5 version focused on that out, and then
move
they'll
on.
go in and
That's what they
chill
did
with
with
the
God of War,
PC,
I think, right? Sony Santa Monica worked on that.
Right.
I don't know if it was just them, but I think a lot of them did work on it.
Yeah, I agree with that to mostly Bloodworth, but I still think maybe there will be a push for their live service stuff to start maybe accelerating that to try and to take whatever resources it needs to get those games to close that gap if there is
Right.
like a staggered release, just because they want to prioritize their own platform first before PC. But the smaller that gap is, the better it's going to be, because you don't want like people to feel like it's like a walled off like community for a while, and then people got to like catch up when they're behind, unless they, but they're probably going to have like cross play progress anyway. So like you just, hey, play on here, and then once you get on PC, your stuff will carry over. You won't have to worry about that. But I think also this acquisition thing means maybe looking forward, some of their acquisitions, instead of being like standalone things to bolster their lineup, like everyone keeps talking about the rumor with like Square Enix, it's like maybe they're looking more at companies that are going to deliver games like this, like Bungie can do, like live service games that will satisfy this a little bit better. So I wonder if it's like a change in thinking for them in terms of like where they want to expand into.
Well, I think I saw a graph this week that was talking about like, Sony's revenue and like games just like outdid like both music and movies. So it's like that's where they're looking to grow.
Yeah.
And as far as I know, they're not really using their IP in like any significant way on mobile, are they? Like, is there any like? It's not like a Last of Us or Uncharted or Ratchet mobile anything, right?
No, and I was about to say something, but it's not Sony. Sorry, a few days talking to my nephew and talking about playing the newest Crash Bandicoot game on phone.
Oh, right.
But like that's not them. But I mean, yeah, I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Yeah, neither can I right now. I'm sure they're working on them though right now.
Yeah, so maybe that's more of a play that they might want to make, is to like find one of these big mobile developers and start getting them to work on Sony IP.
Yeah.
Square is a mobile developer too, Damiani.
That is true. But yeah, I imagine it'd be more about them.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, like taking their existing IPs and like crafting like unique experiences for mobile that would make more sense and potentially be, gateways to the rest of the games and services they have. But hey, it could be another tier they add on to PlayStation Premium.
What would you put for Sony's Pokemon Go?
Sony's Pokemon Go?
What is the best franchise?
Dude.
Astrobot?
Dude, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
They did Invisimals on the PSP. Remember that weird game?
No.
It was AR?
No.
Dude, just, literally celebrate PlayStation, but like in AR in the real world. Like, all those nods you saw like in like Astrobot, it's like, go out in the real world, you might come across like a Resident Evil like nod, or, a God of War nod over here, or Last of Us nod, and like you got to go to the... that could be fun for a while. I don't know how sustainable it'd be, but I bet for a month that would be like one of the most talked about things. The people running all over the place just to like see the reference. Like, dude, there's an Easter egg over at the supermarket over here. It's only there. You got to run over there and check it out.
Yeah, I don't know about like any other IP surviving with a game like that. Like Pokemon, I feel is like one of the only ones that could do that.
Yeah.
The other thing I think is, probably part of this is the streaming angle, right? Because again, the premium tier is basically going to supplant PlayStation Now. And so, PS4, PS5, PS3 games that you'll be able to stream. But what's weird is it seems like, okay, you can stream those to a console, you can stream those to PC. I'm not sure what that PC like experience is like. I think you probably need some kind of specific app to do that, but I don't know.
That is interesting, yeah.
Because right now, Xbox just made this play with the cloud stream toward like, Fortnite back on phones because you can just cloud stream it, but that's a free-to-play game, whereas Sony is like, pay the highest subscription tier to stream our games. Yeah, so it's like, how long is it going to take them to catch up on that front?
Yeah, they need to get some kind of like app on phones for being able to sign into that. And
it sounds like what they need is they need to make it browser based if it's not already.
Oh, okay, yeah, they could do it that way too. I mean, if they could figure it out, yeah.
But there's also that matter of the cost, right? Because like Game Pass, you can be on that. Ultimate's what, $15 a month?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. And I don't remember the pricing off the top of my head.
I think it's 18.
So you think
this
this would be an extra fee on top of everything, or are you saying which tier would it be? Because it'd be behind the highest tier.
Right. It's on the highest tier of PlayStation Plus.
Yeah.
So that's one of those things.
Where
you're asking a lot from people just to,
to
stream those games.
This would be you could watch this. You could see them like going into their Sony products like TVs and phones, and it's like part of that. Like, so if you buy I don't know what Sony's doing with phones anymore, if they're even in it, but like TVs, like they're still doing TVs, but making deals with maybe some of the biggest manufacturers of those, and like teaming up with them potentially. Like if somehow they made a deal with Samsung, it's like all Samsung smart TVs.
Well, that's what Xbox is doing. So Samsung's probably out.
So they're out of it already. So they probably have to go like LG or something.
Yeah.
Although that would be awful. I hope Samsung would at least be able to play on both teams.
Yes,
there.
that would be awful.
Yeah, I mean, get both. I mean, it's.
Could you imagine not being able to get PlayStation on your TV because?
I mean, the process. I mean, honestly, the end game I think of all this is like the process goes. Okay, where do you view things? Your TV or mobile device, or maybe your computer screen. So it's like just like streaming services now for movies and TV shows. You can have more than one. It's about having to buy a dedicated platform, like the hardware. So I think Samsung and like Microsoft would be smart to we'll let PlayStation be on there because that's what we all want. We want the services to be the important thing, not like the hardware. So like I imagine it would work out pretty just like fine. At least Samsung would be like absolutely perfect. We want both of you, but unless Microsoft's got some exclusivity inked in there, I mean, Samsung's definitely going to play ball with Sony.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know. It's just wild.
Yeah, so it's interesting. It's when they say multi-platform, it gives a lot of questions.
Did they say they knew about the demos? It's 2 hours.
Oh,
window,
yeah,
right?
they did back on the PlayStation Plus stuff.
Yeah,
they. After downloading a trial of the full game, you can play it for 2 hours for most games. The playtime counter only counts when you are in the game. That's still vague to me because, like, if you pause, are you in the game?
Right.
And then they put 6 games that they're going to have the trials for: Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection, Horizon Forbidden West, Cyberpunk.
Yeah, that's really funny.
Yeah.
Farming Simulator.
Excellent.
Tiny Tina's Wonderland. They forgot the S there. And WWE 2K22.
I think it said if you decide to purchase it, it'll also transfer your save, and I think like trophies too or something like that. So anything you've made up to that point will carry over.
Yeah.
Which
it's not like a demo. It's like a timer on the full purchase.
Full game, yeah. Cool. I mean, in an ideal world, it'd be sweet if you could just get those demos without having the higher tier, but step in the right direction, I guess.
Yeah. And now, a word from our sponsors.
This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. People don't always realize that physical symptoms like headaches, teeth grinding, and even digestive issues can be indicators of stress. And let's not forget about doom scrolling, sleeping too little, sleeping too much, undereating, and overeating. And I've been grinding my teeth like crazy lately, and I've been very stressed lately. And also I've been noticing that at the end of the day, my forehead will be tired, and I realize it's because I've been holding tension and scowling in my forehead all day. I've been really stressed out. Stress shows up in all kinds of ways, and in a world that's telling you to do more, sleep less, and grind all the time, here's your reminder to take care of yourself, do less, and maybe try some therapy. Personally, I love therapy. I've used BetterHelp in the past when I was outside of LA and needed something that I couldn't get in rural Minnesota and Wisconsin easily, and it was really helpful. Talking to a therapist, I think, is essential to every person and should just be a thing that we can all do. I think we should all do that, and I think you should look into it if you feel that way too. BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy. Give it a try and see if online therapy can help lower your stress. Easy Allies listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/easyallies. That's BETTERHELP.com/allies. 10% off your first month with BetterHelp. Try it out. This podcast is also sponsored by Green Chef, which is a CCOF certified meal kit company, which makes eating well easy with plans to fit every lifestyle. Whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, or just looking to eat more balanced meals, Green Chef offers a range of recipes to suit your preferences. It's premium and organic. They use fresh produce, premium proteins, and organic ingredients that you can trust. #1 meal kit for eating well. It's convenient and easy. It makes cooking easy with pre-made sauces, dresses, and spices, so you get that chef-curated flavor in less time. It's sustainable also, which is important. Something I worry about getting all these deliveries and meal kits and stuff is there's a lot of like waste, plastic and stuff, but Green Chef is the most sustainable meal kit and offsets 100% of their carbon footprint, which is good. Variety and chef-inspired meals. Their chefs curate every recipe so you can enjoy restaurant-quality dishes at home without compromising on taste. And they have lots of options for different lifestyles, such as keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, fast and fit, Mediterranean, and gluten-free. I'm looking forward to trying this. They're sending some. I believe it hasn't arrived yet, but Sophia and I have been saying we need to cook more, and she's gluten-free, and I love Mediterranean food, so that's 2 of them already. And keto fits in there nicely too. So yeah, I'm excited about trying it out. Go to greenchef.com/allies130 and use code allies130 to get $130 off plus free shipping. That's Green Chef, GREENCHEF.com/allies130, ALLIES 130 to get $130 off plus free shipping. Please include this tagline, the #1 meal kit for eating well. I also want to mention Green Chef is now owned by HelloFresh, whom we've had sponsor us before. So there's a wider array of meal plans to choose from. There's something for everybody. Try them both and tell them we sent ya. If you sell things online, don't try to do it yourself. Mailing things is hard. Keeping track of orders is hard. You need help. You need something like Shopify, which is an all-in-one customer commerce platform to start, run, and grow your business. Shopify gives entrepreneurs the resources once reserved for big businesses, so upstarts, startups, and established businesses alike can sell everywhere, synchronize online and in-person sales, and effortlessly stay informed. Scaling your business is a journey of endless possibility. We've been scaling up our merch over the years, and we couldn't have done it without help, and Shopify is there to help you. Shopify powers millions of businesses from first sale to full scale. Reach customers online and across social networks with an ever-growing suite of channel integrations and apps, including Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, if that's a thing, they probably are on there too, and more. Synchronized, if Pinster is really a thing, I don't know that. I don't know if Pinster exists. Pinterest and more. Synchronize your online and in-person sales. Gain insights as you grow with detailed reporting of conversion rates, profit margins, and beyond. More than a store, Shopify grows with you. This is Possibility, powered by Shopify. Go to shopify.com/allies, all lowercase, for a free 14-day trial and get full access to Shopify's entire suite of features. Shopify is SHOPIFY. F as in Frank. Y as in yield? Grow your business with Shopify today. Go to shopify.com/allies right now, all lowercase. Shopify.com/allies. Free 14-day trial. Check it out.
And if you are a patron of Easy Allies, thank you. We talked a lot about PlayStation. We got some little interesting tidbits of what Xbox has been having behind the scenes here too. They applied for a patent that would allow owners of physical games to validate those games on one device, such as an Xbox One or an external disk drive, and then gain access to those games on a digital-only device, such as the Xbox Series S. This patent was actually filed a while back in November 2020, recently spotted by Game Rant, and describing software ownership validation of optical discs using a secondary device. There's a schematic that shows an Xbox One serving to put the disc into and then passing that validation to a Series S, so a digital version can be downloaded from the store. It could be linked using the same network or the same user account. It is not clear whether you need to keep the disc in the console the whole time,
right.
or if you could sell the disc or give the disc to someone else for them to do the same thing. But Microsoft described the idea of customers having to rebuy games that they have physical copies of to be, quote unquote, undesirable for multiple reasons, noting that games represent a significant financial investment. And as with most patent filings, there's no telling whether this will actually become anything that we see. But it's interesting because they both, Sony and Microsoft right now, have boxes that you can't put discs into.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Yeah. Your first question is the most important one. It's like, is this gonna find a way to somehow uniquely tag a disc when it's put into, like when it's logged, so that even if you resell it, you won't actually be able to use it again. So it's like a once per disc thing. But also, like, will they ever open up a legal challenge? It's like, well, they resold the disc to me, so like, do I get, like, that'll be a whole other can of worms. The more important thing to me is, so will it only work on digital only platforms for like the digital version, or if if I have an Xbox Series X and I put my game in and if this patent and it authenticates, like, cool.
Do you get this,
can I get the digital version on that version? Just like put my disc away for now on. It's like, I just want to have the digital copy. I don't want my disc. So that's the other important question I feel like I have, and doesn't seem like it's answered yet, and they aren't answering it just yet, possibly.
Yeah. It reminds me of the stuff that Xbox was talking about before the launch of the Xbox One. They just like tanked the Xbox One, right? Because they were talking about this kind of thing with getting discs, and somehow it's just a delivery platform, right? You just put the disc in one time, and then you don't have to ever again. However, that was going to work.
How did Sony do this before? Sony's done this before.
Oh,
they did this for whatchamacallit. They absolutely did this once before for something.
I don't know what you're talking about. So you're going to have to.
Sorry, well, we talked about something else. Can you look it up? And
I'm not even sure how to look that up.
It was either PSP or I don't know, PlayStation. Like, I don't know.
The PSP Go.
Was it for Go?
That was the digital only.
Yeah,
PSP.
the flip up one.
Yeah,
there was something where it registered there was a limited time. It was only a small time you could do it too. It was like at the launch of something, you could register your game and then you got it on the thing, and that was it. And I don't remember how they did that.
Right.
And sorry, I can't remember
more. You would
more.
need some separate serial number, right? Like you would
so that's the
need
thing.
The same
like,
kind of code like you would redeem on the store.
I don't have
right
a disc
now.
in front of me, so I can't answer. I know there's like some number, like a serial number, a SKU number on it, but like, is that the same on each one, or is there actually a unique code on there, like a product registration type code? Like maybe it's on the box or something. Like I don't know, but it sounds like this is disc only. But I guess I'm trying to like see if this is already done. Maybe it's not so difficult to answer your first question of like, how do you know if you like, you can just keep passing this disc along to every friend and then like it's going to be abused, and like Microsoft's like, okay, forget this, we're shutting this down because too many people are taking advantage of it.
Yeah, I have to think that on some level, if this is basically going back to the stuff from the Xbox One, that maybe they did print those discs with unique codes on them, basically like a Windows license kind of a thing.
Yeah, I wish we had like some I'm sure they're like gaming historians or like people who worked in like the companies who could easily tell us about this if we like looked it up. But I mean, I imagine it would be, and or if not, it'd be really fascinating to figure out how Microsoft comes up with the solution. Like they actually do have a way to be able to tell how a disk is unique and flag it on, like at least on their on server side on their own database. Like it doesn't matter what you do with that disk from now on; it's now been used, and that's it. You can't use it again, or something like that. I don't know, but I mean, I like to be fair. I like this. Like this is something I'm glad they're at least trying out, and hopefully it comes to fruition that they implement it, because I do think like if you have a physical disc, one of the most annoying things with the games is you have a physical disc, you have to pay a separate fee, full price. I would even maybe be okay if like it was a discounted price towards buying the digital version, but they don't even offer you that most of the time. Like digital upgrades for like the PS4, PS5 upgrades, sure, that exists. But if you have a PS5 version of a game, you can't just like go get the digital version of it unless it's like included as part of the package. Like now you got to buy that separately. Whereas so many movies nowadays come with the digital code. It's like, yeah, you get both. Like we're giving you every version, DVD, Blu-ray.
They're not sweating you passing that disc on to somebody else.
Yeah, and that's like a movie. It's so easy to consume that and stuff. I know it's not the same price, but like Yeah, I feel like
that's a funny thing to bring up because why? Yeah, you could just have a code in there. You know, like you could even have it like on the disc somehow, right?
Yeah.
So you put the disc in, it goes to the PlayStation Store, you redeem it on your account, and then okay, let's do your one use code.
We have a few theories, live chat and I, about what you might be talking about.
Okay.
Sony did cross-buy,
Right.
which let you get stuff on the Vita or the PS4 or PS5 if you owned
There's
it on
transferring
PS3.
around
It was
that
not
time.
that.
Transferring. Other people were saying that you could have a code for multiplayer that you could lend them the game and stuff.
No, it was not that. It was definitely
UMD
physical.
passport program.
Maybe it was that. Was it the UMD passport program?
DRD 714. Sony had something limited like this for Japan. They were going off memory. They looked it up. It's the UMD passport
this is it.
program for
This is it.
PSP.
Yes.
Now that I know what it's called, I will look more into it.
It was for PSP. It was for Go, I believe. Yes. It was for
Interesting.
PSP Go. So people could have their their physical disc. Yeah. But I think anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you could basically go into a 7-Eleven in Japan and pre-order your games and then go pick them up. So they have a lot of cool different services there that we don't get.
Probably not surprisingly, Googling UMD passport program does not yield results for the Sony PSP, but rather for UMN Duluth or various other colleges.
That's funny.
I found something.
Oh, yeah?
Do we care about this anymore?
Sure. Yeah, we haven't moved on yet.
Sony unveils UMD passport PSP to Vita charge. Update.
Vita.
Sony takes steps to prevent players cheating the system.
All right.
Well, I'm just happy it existed.
Here,
I didn't
you
dream it
read
up.
it.
And it's fine. It's fine. And it probably is not going to explain the way they're doing it, but I mean,
Play your UMD games on your Vita. Okay.
yeah. Because obviously Vita can't read a UMD disc, so there was a way. Someone like Sony had done it before, so yeah. Oh man, I see Adria saying that's so
I left
old.
the camera on me while I was reading this article.
But back to this. What was
Supported 200 games from 40 companies. Interesting.
Yeah, that's the thing. It didn't remember. I know who didn't support this. Square Enix.
Yeah, right.
You couldn't do Birth by Sleep.
You couldn't do Birth by Sleep.
You couldn't do Birth by Sleep for this. I remember that.
Crisis Core either. You couldn't buy them
you couldn't do
digitally.
Crisis Core.
You couldn't buy them digitally.
Because if they weren't selling it digitally, you could not do this. Oh, Square Enix.
Damn it.
They're never going to let you
I
have
know.
Crisis Core, are they? They just remember they did Type 0 HD, but they're not going to do Crisis Core HD.
Oh, I know. For Square Enix, what you've got to do is you got to collect 20 box tops of Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
I'd do it.
Blood.
And then mail them in.
They would make you collect 20 actual box copies of the game and then give you a digital.
They're
version.
sort of referencing in Japan they did that all the time for send in stuff. Isn't there a version of some JRPG for Saturn or Dreamcast, something that you could only get that version by sending there's crazy stuff.
Club Nintendo used to use those codes all the time. We pulled them together because the GameCube Club
those
Nintendo
old
codes and
ones,
stuff. Yeah, we just all give them to the same person, and then we would get one of the CDs, and then just rip the CD, and we would all share it.
Yeah. Proof of purchases and stuff. Yeah, old school stuff there.
Of all the stories in this week's podcast, I didn't expect the Xbox patent one to totally derail all of us.
But yeah, I mean, it's a weird thing because it's one of those things where there's not a lot to go on, and we might never hear any more details about this story.
Even if it works out, they might be like, it's not worth. We don't want to do it, so they just keep that tech behind closed doors.
The worst version of this would be needing to keep the disc in a separate machine and having an Xbox One turned on while your Xbox Series S is running.
If it ends up being that's why I say it wouldn't be worth it. They would just abandon this, be like, okay, no one's gonna take advantage of that. Or it's not enough people can take advantage. This is not worth doing it. Absolutely.
Potentially some kind of external disk drive that's $20 might not be too bad, but then it's what's the point of buying a Series S?
Then you're just buying an add-on for that system. So it's this would be, if like I'm moving, I have a bunch of physical games. Like, hey, Microsoft offers a program where I could like scan all these discs and I get digital versions, and then I could offload them, like I'm gonna trade them all in and get the smaller Xbox Series S when I move into my smaller place. And this is great. I love you, Microsoft. I mean, that's the only way this works. I feel like is this like something like that. But this makes me wish that like other companies would. Like explore and potentially do this. Most notably, Nintendo.
Yeah.
Wish they would do that because you can't bring your purchases forward half the time.
You won't get something like this from Nintendo for like 20 years.
How about just never? Same with like Sony, like PS3 games, like on that service, like it doesn't. There's nothing going back to the thing. If I own those PS3 games, I don't get access to those on PlayStation Premium, right?
Not the way that they've talked.
Yeah, so
they
it's
only
like
talk about the PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2
I would
games,
love it if I could just put my PS3 disc. It's like, oh yeah, like we authenticated. You get these things.
I said PlayStation P again.
Oh,
PlayStation P.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I mean, that's still surprising to me that they carried those purchases over because it's just such a ways back.
So yeah, to be fair, at least they're doing that when like no one else is like. Well, I guess Microsoft's the king of backwards compatibility. If you have the physical version of that, like they did so much work, but like, and if your digital thing on there, but like it's nice that Sony is at least offering some kind of option with that. Heavens forbid, friggin' Nintendo would let my like virtual console purchases from Wii or Wii U actually work on my Switch.
No, man, they're gonna make you buy Mario 64 forever.
Yeah, it's already locked behind the vault. I'm surprised, like on Nintendo Switch Online, like they haven't vaulted it too. It's like it's only on here for 6 months, then it goes away.
Well, this is the upside of the PlayStation Store having been consistent from 3 onward, because like I've had the same login to PlayStation forever, whereas Nintendo I haven't,
Yeah. Also probably ties into like all the effort they did. Remember like changing names and stuff about like the PlayStation service, why it took so long because of the account behind the code. Like, the Sony has absolutely gone to great lengths. But I think going forward, sorry, we're going on everyone but Microsoft right now, but like it does sound like Nintendo at least is kind of like unified going forward.
That seems to be their
That's
plan,
why they ditched like NNID,
Hopefully.
the Nintendo NID stuff. They ditched that before.
Everything went from GameSpy to the Nintendo Network ID to now the Nintendo account.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, good on all this. Like as long as like there's the more they can facilitate physical people to get on board with digital, I think it's better for them in the long run. So even if it like eats it a little bit into some like it brings them some losses, I think it's like a net gain in the long run because this is the direction they're all going. So I imagine we probably will see something of this at some point, just because I think Xbox eventually wants to push like an all digital like their flagship thing. I think they want that to be all digital at some point. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that, but there's still that sense of there's, that value, that convenience of, somebody just bought you a game for your Xbox. Like, I don't have a disc drive. Mm-hmm. I'm still not sure if it's at some point you might not have a disk drive anywhere to put that thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say my PC doesn't. What if you have the older console? Well, maybe you don't have the older consoles, and like maybe there's a cutoff at how far back you can go to scan it and the service and stuff. It's like, that'll be a new service.
7-Eleven.
Yeah, like 7-Elevens. There you go. Set up kiosks like it's a Redbubble.
Into a red box.
Red box. Yeah. Resident Red box. Put them into a red box.
That would be so funny if like you put your Xbox disc into a red box, it just takes it permanently.
Yes, that's what I was about to say. It just pops you on a code, and you QR, you scan it with your phone on the app. It's like you've now unlocked this game.
You just hear it being shredded.
You're like, oh man.
Well, I've been saying this for years, but this kind of stuff I like to see from Microsoft because it's like all part of their. Exactly like you were saying, Blood, that this is like the thing they announced for the one, and then everyone got pissed. And it was like, they're just doing that again, but they're not making such a big deal out of it. They're just like putting these little features into stuff because they know that it's the all digital future. They've just been doing it the right way instead of like Google Stadia, where they're like, we're going to try to force this 10 years too early.
Right. Well, they tried to force it at first, and they realized that was a bad idea.
Well, they learned from it. Yeah.
And if you might be surprised, but we have the April NPDs.
Oh yeah.
There's a little like change in the schedule, like last month or something, either last month or this month, and so it's like, it just feels like we just had March and now here's April already. But
March was a long month, wasn't it? That's probably why.
maybe that's why.
Yeah.
But so from Matt Piscatella, we've got updates on April numbers. Not a whole lot of big moving and shaking, but we'll go over what we've got. Video game hardware, content, and accessories declined 8% compared to a year ago. Hardware gains were unable to offset declines in content and accessory spending. Switch featured the highest unit sales of hardware platform for both April and for 2022 year to date. Xbox Series systems ranked second in units sold during both time periods.
Oh.
I'm sure they're getting a bit of a boost from the S on that, having them both counting towards the
one
same,
unit,
same platform. And then PlayStation 5, of course, being the most expensive, led April in dollar sales, trailed closely by Xbox and Switch. Xbox Series has generated the highest dollar sales of any platform year to date, followed by PlayStation 5 and Switch. Lifetime unit sales of Switch have now surpassed those of PlayStation 4 in the U.S.
Okay, in the U.S.
Yeah, we talked about where it was overall worldwide last week with the Nintendo stuff. It's now the fourth highest unit selling console in U.S. history and sixth highest selling video game hardware platform overall in the U.S. It trails PS2, Xbox 360, and Wii in the U.S. So that's one of the things, like 360 isn't as high worldwide.
Right,
So we weren't talking about that. And then for April stuff, we've got 2 new games on the list. If you can think about what those might be, what came out last month, charting. And 2 is pretty quiet.
April. Dang, in April.
Yeah.
Jeez, I'm so off. What came out in April?
Ghostwire Tokyo?
No, that was before.
Oh, where is that?
Yeah,
Okay.
that was March.
Came out.
What sports game came out in April?
What sports game came out in April?
Yeah, was it
The
WWE?
show? The show?
No.
Wii Sports?
Switch
Or
Sports.
Switch
Oh!
Yeah.
I feel like that came out last week.
Wait, so how did it do?
It came in number 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was very curious how it would do. So 5 overall, and that's without the digital sales of Nintendo
Correct.
includes. All right.
Yeah. And
Very
then
interesting.
the other big one was also very family friendly.
But not a sports game, just family friendly game, right?
Yep.
A new game?
New game.
What came out? Why do I never remember what comes out anymore?
It all blurs together.
Lego Star Wars. The Skywalker
Hey, that's
Saga.
not family friendly. Have you seen what we could do to little kids in that game?
They never die.
Achieved the highest launch month dollar sales for any Lego title in history.
Nice.
And after 1 month, ranks among the top 6 best-selling Lego games life to date.
Good.
Wow.
So
Deserving.
it was actually the number 1 game of
Nice.
April. Right behind it, can you guess?
Behind that?
Big seller.
It's
Number 2
usually-
spot.
Oh, Elden Ring?
Elden Ring remains the best-selling game of 2022 year to date.
That's right.
And has surpassed Call of Duty Vanguard to become the best-selling premium game of the trailing 12-month period between April's.
Premium game.
Premium. Yeah, you gotta be in that elite category right there.
Yeah, so everything else is returning from previous months. Anything that you want to take a shot at being on here or curious where it might have landed before we go down the whole list?
Stranger Paradise on there?
Oh, is Stranger of Paradise on there? I don't think it is.
Damn. Damn.
Yeah, no, it's not there.
Nope. Negative. Maybe on like the top 20 PlayStation list, but not.
Yeah, it was Ghostwire Tokyo 100% not on there then.
Oh.
I wish.
Yeah, Ghostwire's off.
Damn it.
Dang. So
Damn it.
let's get some usual. So where's Mario Kart 8 Deluxe?
Mario Kart 8 is still at 8. It just
Where's-
keeps popping in at the 8
Where's Grand
spot.
Theft Auto?
I think it hasn't been on the list for a while. Or is it still on there?
Let me see.
I say that because the
I don't think it is, but
came out.
just double check.
Oh, that might be. Yeah. That might be true.
Just checking.
Yeah, no GTAs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Call of Duty is where?
We've got Vanguard is at 6.
And Cold War.
Black Ops Cold War is down at 13. It came up. Cold War was 22 last
What
month.
about the show? Is show still in there?
Yeah, the show is at number 3, right behind Elden Ring.
Dang, nice.
Damn.
It moved up as well. And the show doesn't include Xbox digital sales for some reason.
Oh, wow.
Right, and that's on Game Pass. That was
Yeah.
day one Game Pass.
Is Kirby still in the top 20? I know it was...
Kirby is at number 4.
Wow.
Kirby
Okay.
is still doing well.
Okay.
Just went down one spot.
Damn.
There you go. Doing strong.
Switch effect, baby.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like the older games. The only other 2 Switch games that would probably still be in that running, I would think, would be is
Smash?
Is Smash Brothers still on that list?
Yep, Smash Brothers moved up to 14.
All right. Is Arceus still on that list? Or no?
Arceus is at 10.
Okay. Don't. This is
FIFA? Some FIFA games? Some Madden
yeah,
games?
farewell to FIFA.
Yeah, farewell.
Madden is 19. FIFA is at 12.
Okay.
I don't know if it's been on the chart for a while. Breath of the Wild's still not on there anymore, is it?
No, I don't
I think
so.
it's fallen off for a while. Would have been my last long shot to be on there for the older games.
Yeah. So our full top 20.
Oh, Tiny Tina?
Tiny Tina's down there, 20.
Yeah.
Nice.
All the way at the bottom.
Made it.
2K doesn't include digital sales, though.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so number 1, Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga. Number 2, Elden Ring. Number 3, MLB The Show 22. Number 4, Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Number 5, Nintendo Switch Sports. Number 6, Call of Duty Vanguard.
All right.
Number 7, Horizon Forbidden West.
That's what we're forgetting.
8 is Mario Kart 8.
GT7, we didn't say either.
9 is Gran Turismo 7.
There you
Yeah.
10 is Arceus. 11 is Minecraft.
Yo.
12 is FIFA. 13 is Cold War. 14 is Smash Brothers. 15 is Miles Morales coming back in there.
Oh, nice.
16 is Animal Crossing. 17
that was
is WWE. 18 is Mario Party Superstars.
Oh, wow.
19 is Madden. And 20 is Tiny Tina's
I know
Wonderland.
Party
Jeez.
Superstars has been selling well. I didn't realize it would have that staying power. It's probably going to fall in a month or two, though.
And speaking of sales, Xbox outsold PlayStation in Japan
Yeah.
last week.
Was like the first time in like 8 years
It
or
was the first
something?
time in 8 years.
Without an exclusive JRPG.
But don't get too excited. It's very, very clearly due to inconsistent supply. So yeah, so the sales this past week, Series S sold 6,120. Series X sold 105. So again, you can see like the supply disparity. PS5 was 2,693. Switch was 65,000, not million.
Wow.
And then, but to see the week before, Xbox Series S was only 1,000, and Series X was 3,000. PS5 was 49,000. So PS5 went from 49,000 down to 2,000. So just like
Supply.
Whatever they can
supplies
get,
all over
yeah.
the place.
Microsoft had been saying it was starting to get easier to get their
Console,
system.
yeah.
So it's also probably reflective in the NPD as well. Starting last month, it's been a little bit easier to get your hands on those. So
Yeah.
I imagine Microsoft might be edging a little bit of a lead for a while until Sony gets
Can catch
their
up.
stuff sorted out, and then PlayStation will probably go,
Yeah, and then live to date Japanese sales, according to, I think it's from Famitsu that I got these. Xbox Series X and S put together is 201,000. PS5 is 1.6 million.
Here it comes.
And Switch is 24.7 million.
There you go.
Also, Switch is now officially outsold the 3DS in Japan.
It's a big milestone.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, like PS5 has not had the years.
No.
So, and it's way more expensive than it's
Yeah, way more. And there hasn't been like, I would say arguably the huge Japanese game yet that I can think of. I guess like 7 Remake, but that was already on PS4.
That
Maybe
too.
16.
Yeah.
A Dragon Quest 12 or whatever it's going to be.
So like countless articles that have just come out like over the years from Japan being just like trending towards like it's just mobile over there.
Handheld.
Like,
Yeah, handheld mobile.
set top consoles are just going to be declining and declining every generation going forward. So That's probably why in the past topic we're talking about, all those companies want you to be able to play their games on anywhere you can because they're not going to make dedicated handhelds hardware themselves. They're like, no, it already exists. Let's just put our games on there. Yeah.
Yeah, and the way Xbox has with the touchscreen controls and just like smoothly integrating all of that stuff, continuing to develop that is going to be really important.
Yeah, for sure.
Also this week, coming this summer, Hooked on You, a Dead by Daylight dating sim with the anime-inspired visuals.
Wait, what?
A Dead by Daylight dating sim.
Oh.
Okay.
With anime-inspired visuals. It is wild.
Okay.
Has Ben seen this?
Yeah, Ben's seen this. Ben's seen all of this.
Okay.
They had a big Dead by Daylight 6th anniversary thing. They also teased Resident Evil Project W coming later this year with
Project
even more
Wesker.
Resident Evil characters, presumably including Albert Wesker.
Yep.
The teaser they showed for that just like showed one of the survivors and then like zoomed into like a security cam feed.
Oh my God, Wesker as the killer.
Yeah, you can't see that it's Wesker, but it's when the Project W comes up.
It's gonna get that thing like in 5 at the end.
Oh.
Yeah.
Greedfall 2, The Dying World
wow.
was announced, coming in 2024. The story is set to begin 3 years before the events of the first game and aims to have more tactical combat.
Didn't play the first one, but I heard there's
Jones
some good
loved
qualities.
it.
Yeah, of course Jones loved it. I heard there's some rough. It had a lot of rough edges.
Yeah, it's like one of the things that's like really rough, but people like there's enough there
there's
to like
something to like
hook people into. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Activision Blizzard proudly revealed King Games' diversity space tool.
Oh yeah.
Which somehow assigns numerical scores to various character attributes such as race, ethnicity, and gender. Despite using Overwatch characters to illustrate the tool, Overwatch team members state they've never used it because they, quote unquote, all have eyes. It is profoundly stupid.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
And
I loved the thing that you said in Slack, Blood, where you were like, I can't believe they tweeted this and it wasn't a leak. Because it's so dumb.
It's so dumb, dude. Come on.
How do you determine what point values to
King.
assign to things? Like, oh my God.
yeah.
A robot telling you?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
I was
Yeah.
like that,
Come on.
Was it
It's such a them way to solve it.
the quick story, in regular news, the algorithm that came out, like a AI that scans X-rays and inexplicably can almost 99% guess person's like geo like location, like their like race basically based on that, and they don't know how.
Okay.
Like they don't know. They're like, wait, how is it telling this and getting it all right based on X-rays? And like they're freaked out right now. They're like, wait, what? How? Like because he can't read the output because it's all gibberish. The algorithm's gibberish to humans, so they don't know what it's doing to get to it. So it's
okay.
No.
All the phrenology freaks are
yeah,
going to be
so it's
like,
like this is what happens when you do this. Like unexplained stuff's gonna happen. You're like, how does it determine the point values? Like what? How?
Sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the funny thing is to me is just seeing this really stupid looking thing.
Yeah.
And then seeing developers that work for this company and they're like, what is this?
Like let's tweet it out, but our own people are like, what? That's great.
Yeah.
Things are going great over there, aren't they?
Why?
It's a circus.
We all have
The
eyes.
circus is in
it's a
town. over
real
there.
circus over
I love
there.
that. We don't use this because we all have eyes.
Come on.
Dying Light 2 developer Techland announced they've started work on an all-new open-world action RPG in a fantasy setting. It's headed up by staff from the Witcher series, Horizon Zero Dawn, Deathloop, and Mad Max. Mm-hmm. Now hiring.
Interesting.
They put out a painting.
There you go.
What
Got to
the
get
game will
the
look like
recruitment
one day.
going.
yeah, get the recruitment going.
That's how it works.
Like, Dying Light 2 is probably going to have a ton of post support
Yeah, yeah.
also, so.
Dying Light just swallowed up that company.
Yeah.
Saber Interactive will be assisting Aspyr on the Knights of the Old Republic remake. Saber recently put out the Evil Dead game, which we played the other day. It was pretty fun. And they've also worked on some of the Halo remasters.
Oh, okay.
Right, yeah.
So they've got some of that work put in there.
Interesting.
According to multiple reports, the unannounced remake of The Last of Us is nearly finished and could come out this year.
Yep. Factions will probably be with that.
Oh,
That's it with factions, yeah.
interesting.
Okay, yeah, buy that.
Because the idea of
access to-
buying
yeah.
a Last of Us remake already is a hard pill for many people to swallow.
Right.
And the first game had factions, and if you you brought out the remake and you didn't have factions in it, that'd be a big mistake. So I think packaging them together is a smarter idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hebrews just played through Last of Us Remastered.
Yeah.
Was playing factions for a while. Yeah.
He'll play it over and over.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
he
yeah.
loves it.
Yeah, he'll play it. Yeah.
I bet they'll have the whatever the multiplayer game is still standalone though, because they've been talking about that a lot.
Maybe
As
maybe
their first standalone
Yeah.
multiplayer.
This
game.
might be just like early access or something to it if you buy this. Like get.
yeah.
Or it'll be like
into it
Uncharted,
early.
because remember, like the multiplayer came with like both Uncharted 4, and then if you got
yeah.
Lost Legacy, it still came with it.
Yeah. It could do, like they might do
Yeah.
So
that.
maybe it'll
Yeah.
come with
With
the
it,
remaster,
but you could
or the
buy it
remake, but you can buy it
Because I
separately.
think you can do
there
that
you go.
with
That's
Ghost of Tsushima. I think you can buy them separate. So yeah, I didn't think of that about that.
Also, there's rumblings of a Gears of War collection similar to the Halo
Oh, the
Master Chief
one.
collection.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That might
dang.
also come out
There's
this
many
year.
Gears of War games.
Then I'll finally play them.
And Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown has been delayed to 2023. The last gen versions of that game have been canceled.
Oh, okay.
Hey, here we go. The cancellation of the
Moving
last gen
on.
stuff. We're
Yeah.
starting to
Yep.
move.
Gotham Knights killed them. Test Drive's killing them.
Beginning.
I still don't know what this Test Drive game is.
Okay. I
Because
was
the
gonna ask you,
developers
what,
of
was, like,
Unlimited
what is this
have been
blood?
making the
Yeah.
crew, so I don't know who they're have on this.
Gotcha.
But it's time for love and respect.
Love and respect.
From Danny B. Hey, allies. I have decided to upgrade my backlog tracking this year by adding a more formal review to each game I beat. Over time, my writing style has shifted a bit, and I try to use the old game trailers categories to help organize my thoughts: story, gameplay, design, and presentation. I soon felt there was a lot of overlap in these categories, especially if the game did certain things well. Do you agree? Is that why they were dropped for easy A reviews, or was it something else?
So yeah, Bloodworth, you and I can answer this pretty much. Yes, definitively. Yes, that was why. Numerous. Like when it seriously came time to talk about it, everyone was just like, it's really hard to write in these categories sometimes when I'm talking about this topic and it makes so much sense to talk about this other thing, but I have to put it in presentation or design because I can't tell you how many times I'd go to whoever and be like, these have to be talked about together. I don't care if we have a gameplay and design section. Like, it's the rules. I'm like,
Right.
they agreed, but they're like, it's the rules. I'm like, okay, so yes, absolutely.
Well, they say, if easy A reviews, but this was a long time.
Sorry,
actually
game trail- for
before-
game trailers,
Right. But I'm
yeah.
saying like that change happened a long time before easy A.
Yeah.
Because it basically when the leadership changed. Like after Shane left, and it's like, okay, what do we want to do with reviews now? And it's the one thing that the two big things that changed was getting rid of the categories,
Yeah.
and then adding the bylines, because we didn't have bylines before. It was like a group voice or whatever.
Do you remember who was it? Wasn't there a developer said they were sad that we got rid of like the story thing? Remember the categories had their own graphics? And
I
someone
don't
was
remember
actually-
saying they were sad. I do remember David Jaffe in an interview at one point, specifically describing the story guy that came out in one of the earlier graphics and how he was crying.
Oh,
And just the building of the anticipation for what we were going to say about it.
We did something. What was it? We had just done something new right before we made this change. For the graphics package.
We had the pinball thing, but that was a
updated it
few. Yeah.
to the pinball thing a year or two before, because I was
Okay.
there for both of them. So yeah.
And then before the little guy came out or whatever and all that stuff, there was the cogs that were turning.
Yeah,
I don't
I remember that.
Yeah, I don't know if Damiani was even there for
There
that
was
one.
the earlier one. I was not there for that one. That was just before. The one we're talking about is the one. The before we were talking about is the one that was started when I started, or when I started. That was what they were using.
Yeah, I think in the earliest things too, rather than presentation or story, one or the other, there was sound was actually one of the
Oh, really?
categories.
Oh wow.
I don't even know if I wrote any that had that in there.
Huh.
But the two weirdest ones were story, because sometimes there might not be, you get
Sports
a Mario
game.
game or a sports game.
Yeah,
It's
like,
well, sometimes you might not even have a story, or like you'd be like, well, do I score this story?
Yeah, and how do you
not
like
the point of the game?
And then even if you do we have to score, it's like, okay, I'm not weighting it as much, like, because there used to be all those theories about how do we weight each individual thing. It's like, I don't know. Like,
yeah, you give the story like a 3.0 because you had to give it something, and then the game would get like an 8.8.
It's like,
oh, that's so bad.
Yeah, but
Good God.
Like it's when you're talking about gameplay and design, it's like they're going to be intrinsically linked at some point. Like you're talking about like, oh, like I have combat skills in like an environment, and like you're talking about how well like mechanically they work, but it's like, but then there's, you want to talk about like a shortcoming because like the environments don't do a good job. It's like, well, now you're starting to meander into design, so it's like, you got to cut it. So you tell me I have to just talk about the mechanics right now. Stop, move on to something else, and then later in design go, so remember, like, no, don't do a callback. You shouldn't do a callback. Just talk about it. I'm like, but what? Like, it's so weird.
Yeah, because it just you have topics that sort of encompass both, and there's and there will be games, right, like Smash Brothers. Like, you can talk about that design in a way where it's like, okay, we're going to break down the features. Like, there's a multiplayer mode, and there's a story mode, and there's an arcade mode, and then you've got the trophies and all of that stuff that you earn. But then you can talk about the gameplay separately. But then when you get to say Breath of the Wild, where do you separate the gameplay and the design? Along hard lines.
It just clearly was restrictive. I understand. There were people who were like at the time, like kind of like it was what was familiar to them, so they weren't like initially very happy with like losing. Especially this, it was mostly they didn't like losing those scores. Right. Like it wasn't even so much the sections.
Dude,
it was just
I
like
still get people, kind of like this guy, who was talking about, I like the sections. I liked having the different individual parts so I could see where the strengths and weaknesses were.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, you look at a review score, it's just like meant to like, okay, I can quickly kind of glean what, without even listening to what you said. Oh, good, bad, average, or it's great. You include those other category scores. It's like, I really don't have to read anything. Like, oh, yeah. Oh, okay, I care about this stuff. It's really good. Oh, I don't care about story. Oh, great gameplay design. Heck yeah. Or, oh, bad presentation. I don't care. I play handheld mode anyway in a game. Like, great. Like, it's just... Yeah, that's just way easier to people. And there's still places that like do that. Like maybe a paragraph review, and then
go back
like
to Nier. I wonder what the breakdown on those scores was.
On which?
Nier?
Oh,
the original Nier?
Yeah, it would have been sound, there was no sound, but that would have been a 10. Story would have been pretty high, but
we get presentation along for the ride. Like,
it's like okay, well, design and gameplay. Well,
but you see, even there, it's like
too ambitious.
The presentation issues of Nier at the time started to impact the gameplay.
Yeah, well, it would have been like this game like clearly had a low budget. And the developer, Cavia, was not equipped to do this.
I've got it. Nier 1, game trailers review score, story 8.1, design 5.9, gameplay 5.3, presentation
5.6.
Or 5.6. Presentation 6.1.
Right,
interesting.
Did you review this,
6 overall.
Yeah, you did. That was the funny thing. I can't remotely tell you those individual scores, like why I picked those.
Yeah. That's funny.
Sure.
Man, these graphics bring back so many memories.
Yeah.
Like right now, can we time travel back? Then we can figure out the answer.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Rob Bob Will. Greetings, allies. Where we're going versus where we've been. I've been slowly playing Elden Ring and loving the lack of waypoints and feeling of exploration that's been talked about so much. But because I'm only playing a little each day and switching between two characters, depending on my mood, I'm really struggling with following the quest lines.
Oh, yes.
This got me thinking.
Yeah.
I miss journals in games. Not quest logs or waypoints, but the journal from Morrowind. Whenever you got important info from an NPC, it would be recorded in first person in your journal. It wouldn't tell you where to go next, only what the person spoke about that is relevant. I don't know if this would work exactly in Elden Ring, but I would love to be able to check who said what and where. I feel we're at two ends of the spectrum regarding this direction in games, either waypoints or not. But do you think there's a middle ground for us forgetful ones?
So, I agree with that. I really wish it had a notebook of some kind. That was one of like my kind of personal complaints, but they've since done updates to kind of alleviate that, and especially like with NPC tracking at the sites of
showing
grades.
the icon on the map.
But to their point, I think the middle ground is you get out your own like pen and paper and you start taking notes. Like that's kind of like the counter argument I see is like, do you not have like a Google document or something you just open up and write? But like that requires you to go out of the game. But then there'll be people like, well, you're going out of the game anyway to look up stuff, aren't you? But maybe you're not. Maybe you really want to play it without any information. So it would be nice if even an in-game option, like at least if it's not going to track it, give me a place to write down my own notes then. You know,
Right.
That would be perfectly acceptable if they don't want to like track that themselves.
I am not opposed to them doing that necessarily. I think one thing I think that people get lost on a lot of this stuff is they've been trained over the years to what a character is saying to you is maybe not super important to them, and they just expect the game to tell you right away. But in these games, I think they very much clearly teach you like you need to listen what they are saying. But yes, things can get lost in over time, especially if you're playing like two characters at one time for your first time. Like, that's not a very common thing. But like for me, when I reviewed this game, I mean, there was nothing I could look up. I did write down some things because this isn't my first rodeo with them, so I am used to these kind of things. But I think just like a little something could maybe help, but I definitely don't want them leading you.
Well, Elden Ring has an Elden Ring style this in it. Like you can do a bunch of different markers on the map, and you can do like different symbols for a bunch of different stuff. So you can put your own reminders in there. It's just visual markers.
Yeah, but I think they're saying like an NPC specifically telling you about like a name of a location or something,
or a person,
or a person.
And even those markers, it's like, did I check that marker or not? Like you can't add a note to it or something to say like just clarify what that like means.
Make a better system for yourself, baby.
I know, but we're arguing like in the game, like especially if you're juggling two characters, it's like you're probably gonna get lost with that. Thought one of you would bring up the counterpoint as like the game is meant to be like discussed online, and like that's the whole thing
that's
they're kind of going for.
Yeah, sure.
Like,
But I think if it's a matter of somebody saying, I just don't remember because this happened 10 hours ago on my playthrough.
no, absolutely fair. And honestly, many times like now I'm playing through it, I'm picking up more on like NPCs. Like it's making more sense. Like I'm actually surprised at how much
they
NPCs
do
tell
you.
Like, I might have missed something and not seen NPCs say it, but
they'll repeat things to you a lot.
If you actually come across the thing, there's almost an explanation for almost everything in the game for what you could do. It's just you're most likely not going to encounter all of that. So like you're sometimes only getting like bits and pieces of even like a quest line. It's like, I saw the beginning. I failed at the end, but where was the middle? Like I didn't figure out where to go in the middle, or you just missed the beginning and you come across the end. It's like, wait, where was I even supposed to figure out where to go here? And it's like there was someone there that would have like told you how to get there.
There were a few NPCs and instances in Elden Ring that by FromSoft standards, they straight up, like literally just tell you. And I remember in my first playthrough, like Godric or whatever his name is Godfrey in the Round Table Hold, like just literally telling you stuff, where things are and who they are and where to go. And I was just like, whoa, okay, like we're on easy mode or whatever comparatively. Yeah.
Yeah, the funny thing is the suggestion, what it reminded me of is Darkened Sky of all things.
For sure. Robust journaling system.
Yeah, because it tracks every line of dialogue that's said to you, as well as a separate thing where she's writing things down there, summarizing.
They maybe should focus on making the game good first.
Right.
That game's magnificent.
I
you know what?
Enjoy it.
You know what game has a really good system like this is Outer Wilds, because it's all knowledge based and it just has the ship keeping track of knowledge.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Which is really good.
The one I liked a lot too was because I put it down for a while and had to come back to it later. Is Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, okay.
And it's very like Life is Strange-ish, towards like it's got a lot of doodles and stuff
it's
in
like
the notebook.
him writing in it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out Shout out to Deadly Premonition 2 that every time you boot it up does like a previously on like
dude,
shows
I
you
like
the most
that.
recent
Like that.
relevant story crap.
As much as I think it hasn't aged well, like I'll give props to Phantom Hourglass for letting you make notes on the maps,
map.
so you could like actually draw and then like write something like
on that tiny DS screen.
yeah. But I mean, imagine like Breath of the Wild let you like, besides what markers allowed you to just
doodle something.
Yeah, doodle like a note, like a word or something, just to help you out. Hopefully the sequel has something like that.
Let's play a game.
Every time. Every time.
Oh. From Scotty Robertson. Name that song, Fairy Boy.
What?
Zelda?
Oh, I was about to say, whoa, is that like,
I think.
Hi,
I was like,
allies.
oh, that's not like,
I'm currently
Slur.
replaying one of my all-time favorites, Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. If you've played the game enough, you can remember exactly how each song goes by playing it in your head without the need to look at the notation sheet in the game. But how well do you really remember some of these songs? So here's how the game works. I'm going to say each note. There's the 4 C button directions and A.
you're doing it C button.
In
Okay.
the order
It's not a 3DS, thank God.
that Link needs to play the
I would
song.
never get this.
Because they added.
So wait, say that last part again.
So I'm gonna say the notes, the
Okay.
buttons that you press.
And then we said something after that, though.
Yeah, well, and then the panelists will need to identify the title of the song
Okay.
based on the notation.
Okay.
This I might be lax on because he says you can only buzz in to answer by saying, "Hey, listen."
No. No.
All right.
I'm not gonna remember like the
Yeah, the
names
buzz
of
in
some of
thing
these
almost
songs.
never
points.
work.
I'm
People
saying,
just
hey,
shout this
listen.
stuff out.
All right.
Okay, so first one. Down, right, left. Down, right, left.
So,
Epona song?
hey, listen. Said down, right, left.
Down, right, left. Down, right, left. Epona?
Sorry, a song.
Sorry, a song.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Nice.
Sorry, I had to say it out loud. I can play the notes in my head, so I had to say it out loud. Like, da-na-na.
A, up, left, right, left, right.
Is that the Song of
What-
Time?
No. That's one of the adult songs. Say it again.
A, up, left, right, left, right.
A, up, left, right, left, right. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, the Serenade Water.
No.
Oh, wrong one. No. Shit, you go. Yeah, I guess.
Oh, I don't know. What is the song that moves the blocks? Is that the Song of Time?
No. They would those ones repeat. Those do 3-3. Like 3 repeats. This
okay.
does not repeat. I mean, there's a left, right, ref.
Is it the fire one then? I don't know.
No.
I don't
It's
remember-
Blur
I don't remember the
Blur
names.
Fire. Say it again. It's a low note.
A, up, left, right, left, right.
It's either the oh god, what is the Shadow Temple song called?
I'm not going to sweat too much about the names of this.
Yeah,
some
I'm
of
not-
these.
like-
Yeah.
Requiem of Shadow?
No, it's a Minuet of Forest.
Oh, the Forest Temple one. Oh. That was gonna be my next guess, but like I want him to get another guess. Yeah.
All right. Easier one. Left, up, right, left, up,
This
right.
is Zelda's Lullaby?
Yep.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yay. Got one.
Up, right, left, up.
Wait, let's do it again.
Up, right, left, up.
Up, right, up. Oh, Prelude to Light?
Yeah.
Wow!
Wow. Wow.
He is the hero of time.
A, down, A, right, down, A.
A, down,
A.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, if you manage to pick out which notes are which, it would be a lot
Say
easier.
the last. Say it again. Sorry.
A, down, A, right, down, A.
Right, down. A. So that's going down. It's starting high and going down. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, that's the Spirit Temple.
Requiem of Spirit.
What kind of spirit? Jesus.
A, down, up, A, down, up.
Oh, that's the Song of Storms?
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
I knew you'd get that one.
Write A down. Write A down.
Song of Time.
Yeah.
There it is. Hell yeah.
I wouldn't get any of these like this. Wow.
Don and I are very, very impressed. Don is losing his mind.
Said I got Minuet Forest wrong, but that's okay.
Left, right, right. A, left, right, down. That seems like too many.
Say one more time.
Left, right, right. A, left, right, down.
Left, right, right. So it's going down. Dun, dun, dun. And then what were the last one? Sorry.
A, left, right, down.
A, left, right, down. That's long.
Yeah, I
Is
think
that the
there's an
fire one?
extra one or something. in
No,
there.
that has to be. I mean, the only thing I can think of I got wrong first one was Shadow. Was the
Yeah,
Shadow
Nocturne of
Temple.
Shadow.
Nocturne of Shadow.
There it
Oh,
is.
jeez.
Because the Serenade of Water starts high and just keeps going down. So this went down and went back up down.
Damn.
So I was like, it's not. That was process of elimination. I didn't actually know it off the notes that time.
That was crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's
crazy.
amazing. Great game. I saved it because they actually submitted it last week. I was like, oh, I gotta have both Brad and
Hard
Damiani
mode
on
would have
here.
been the 3DS
Yeah.
versions because like,
Oh, there's like L and
this is
R
all
in
different.
there,
I'm like,
yeah.
Oh,
no
no,
idea.
yeah, no way.
No idea.
It's time for bets. This week's bet. Roller Champions suddenly, out of nowhere, announced a release date. It's coming out next Wednesday, May 25th. If you're not familiar with this game, you forgot about it, you didn't see the announcement, it is a free-to-play roller skating sports game. And it was pretty fun at E3, whatever year that was.
That was legit probably 5 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, it was
feel
like
like-
either 2019 or 2018.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to go on the PlayStation Store on PS5, where they have the little info box on the side. How large will the minimum download size be?
18 gigs.
Damn.
Damiani.
17
Oh!
gigs.
Oh, wow.
Damn it.
Oh, I didn't write it down, Brad. Hang on.
It was E3 2019.
Ah, nice.
Oh, wasn't
Yeah, go check out our impressions. Me and Heber played it together. Isla.
I'm going small. I'm saying 2.6 Googie Fruits.
Googie Fruits. Right, Googie Fruits. Okay. And then I went with 14.11. So, yeah, we're both on the low side.
Question is, will it have Tom Clancy tied in somehow?
Tom Clancy. Just himself on roller
Yeah,
skates.
him. Like Sam Fisher in there.
Oh. Last week's bet. Dolman's out. In the launch trailers, I went to see how many enemies the player, or players, if they were playing co-op, would strike. Huber bet 6 enemies. Damiani bet 2. Isla bet 36. And I bet 4. 0 enemies get hit in that trailer.
Wow! What?
The lowest bet gets it. Winner is Damiani,
Wow!
bringing the scores to Massive Chubs 8, Splish. Malodorous Sea Lions 9. Let me tell you about patreon.com/EasyAllies. Easy Allies is supported by our viewers and our listeners. We cannot do it without you. So basically, Patreon is the place to give us that funding, give us that support, and keep everything going. So you can go over to patreon.com/EasyAllies, and if you like this podcast, if you like reviews, if you like streams, anything that we do, go over there and throw in whatever amount you think is appropriate, from $1 to $5, $10. Whatever you think makes sense for you on a monthly basis, fits your budget and fits what you think you get out of these shows. At the $1 level, you get this podcast without any ads, and you also get 2 extra love and respect questions. There'll also be just informative posts and polls and things that pop up from time to time. $5 gets you early access to this podcast, as well as the ability to submit to love and respect and to the games. And then there are also things like trash babies and spoiler modes, fun stuff like that. And then if you're in that $5 tier, look for the love and respect post on Tuesdays, usually when I put it up, and jump in there, ask your questions, give your thoughts on headlines that we might want to talk about or whatever. Don't be afraid.
Also, not Patreon, but we have a new shirt.
Yeah.
On our merch store. I'm wearing it. Here, look.
The Chess Club.
The Easy Allies Chess Club.
It looks so good.
Computer accurate play. It's amazing. We have it in this athletic gray and in a darker heather gray.
Yeah, that merch link should be in the YouTube description. It's also on our site at easyallies.com. You can get to that easily. It's on the Roost website is where you actually buy it, but it takes a little searching there. At our top level Patreon tiers, we have shout-outs, and this month's shout-outs go to Javawabs, Elthanis, Greg the Dark Knight Kettering, Caleb Togi Crawford, Nick, and Anacroft. Shout out! Damiani, since you won this week's bet, you get to promote any Easy Allies video you'd like to promote. You get the final word on anything you've disagreed with, want to reiterate, or just popped into your head. And you get to sign off with your trademark sign-off.
All right. You should check out the Multiverses closed alpha impressions that Brad and I got to discuss. So check out that video, see how we think the game is in the early goings.
Yeah, Arya Stark's in there, so I'm just waiting for that Chernobyl announcement.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Believe F-Zero GXR. It's coming. That's my final thought. And until next time, may the way the hero lead to the Triforce.
Put your Xbox disc into a red box, it just takes it permanently.
Yes,
and
that's
gives
what I was about to
you a
say.
code.
Just
It
deletes
pops
it.
out a code, and you QR, and you scan it with your phone on the app. It's like you've now unlocked this game.
You
for
just hear it being
Xbox.
shredded.
You're like, oh.